5-1 on that pick, and I think there's a setup ban of Kalista, so we'll see if their priority is dropped on it. I still think they're going to go for it with first pick.
Yeah, they're hovering around on a bunch of different stuff here. Back to the Azir that they hovered there for a while.
Ooh.
Okay, they're going to lock that in. Zeri is left up.
Yeah, this is really interesting to me. Because we have seen Zeri today, so it's not like it's a dead champion on this patch. It does definitely speak to almost C9's seriousness level here, saying we're going to pick Azir, and they don't think that Palafox has a notable counter pick against it. Remember, I think CLG is one of the best teams in the league at counter picking, which is
okay.
So that could be a mid. That could be a mid Yone, but it is flex because Dhokla's played it as well.
A little bit of anime protagonist energy here at the start for CLG. I mean, hey, this champion can accomplish some amazing things. If he's able to scale up, if he's able to get those items, he can truly 1v9 the game. CLG, what else do they want to pick with it? Do they want to... Ooh, now this is one that has worked a lot of good miracles for these guys before. It is one of the absolute staples of deathball style team fighting.
Yes.
Seraphine is locked in here for CLG.
And it works really well with Yone to have another high damage dealer. He goes in, he groups them up, or the Seraphine ult can lead and group them up. It's huge wombo combo potential.
Yeah.
I do want to just point out, though, like with this patch, there were Seraphine nerfs. None of them were huge. The win rate went down about 2%. Basically, all of the changes were focused around Seraphine's W. It doesn't heal as much or give as big of a shield based on the AP ratios, but still going to be mostly the same champion in terms of how it performs in-game.
Well, C9 are locking in the Fiora there for top lane for Fudge. So if that Yone is sent top lane, it is very easy for Fiora to riposte either the ultimate or the Q3 knockup. They're both very easy to read. And the Trundle lock-in here in the jungle for Blaber.
Yeah, I mean, basically blind picks across the board by C9. The Azir was first picked. The Yone is flexed, so the Fiora could be whatever Dhokla wants to play against it.
Yep.
And then Trundle, I feel like it often best suits when there is guaranteed another like brawler that he's going to be able to go in against. CLG now has the potential to play this really ranged poke back comp to kind of make Trundle a little bit useless, and that's going to be the bottom lane. Karma Seraphine is likely the bottom lane, has a chance once the team fight phase kicks in to make life for Blaber really, really difficult.
And remember, we already have 3 AD carries banned out in the first 6 bans, with neither side locking in their own marksman. We could see that pool pinched significantly here in the second half of the game.
Yeah, I mean, CLG gets to decide. They have more experience with the Seraphine Karma lane down bottom, because their bottom lane, to me, is sealed, even though technically you could still flex the Seraphine middle. Zeri ban makes sense. Its presence has gone down from 96% last patch to 70% this patch, so still the second highest presence AD carry. I'm very surprised that C9 didn't pick it early on, but that's what we're left with.
Who's sitting at number 1 right now?
It is Kalista at 90%. Okay. So we're down. Like, all the most played AD carries are gone. We have no Kalista, no Zeri, no Sivir. Those are 1, 2, 3. Next up is Draven at 57%, which is maybe questionable into that really pokey, shovey Seraphine Karma bot lane. I'm not sure what Berserker's going to go with.
Well, we got Lilia banned out by C9. CLG, one more ban to go. They know that they need to be looking at AD carries or supports, and support is the name of the game. Getting rid of a powerful engage mechanism, because when you look at the 3 champions C9 has, they don't really have one of those aside from a nice Azir flank into a shuffle.
Absolutely. It's going to be such an interesting game to watch this play out. CLG, they were the ones that jumped out to the 3-0 this year, largely off the back of strong Seraphine bot lanes. They haven't been able to get their hands on it since then. It's been a highly banned champion. The small nerfs have definitely dropped the presence a little bit, but this is kind of CLG's comfort zone in terms of the comps they played extremely well with in week 1.
Well, the Poppy gets banned out by C9 because they know no matter where Seraphine or Yone wants to flex to, they still have to find a jungler, and they want to take that top-tier pick off the table. Of course, Poppy is something that Trundle normally likes to play against because of the fact that you can sap her stats with the ulti, but just her sheer power, they want to get rid of that. But that leaves Wukong up, and that will be locked in the jungle for CLG.
Probably a Lucian Nami coming in from C9. They decided to ban Nautilus to limit the amount of engage that C9 will be able to throw out. When you are playing that high-ranged bottom lane, Nautilus is the thing that can break through that if C9 can bring overwhelming force bot lane. So it will be difficult for C9 to get engaged, as you were mentioning. They have the slows from Nami, the slows from Trundle Pillar, Azir's knockback, that's about it.
Not a hard engage, though.
Yeah, the lane itself is definitely going to be stronger now for C9.
Okay.
But the rest of the game is going to be difficult. You can see there, Jayce coming in, probably means the Yone is going mid lane against that Azir, so they had the counter pick very early. Jayce is probably going to be Dhokla's option into the Fiora, and it's a poke comp. This is what they've set up. It's poke, and then if they feel like they get them low enough, that's when Yone and Wukong go in.
So, who won the draft?
Right now, I give it to CLG because it does have a bit clearer of an identity. There's a little bit of a mismatch. Like, actually with this comp, CLG would probably rather have Trundle because that's a better poke comp champion than Wukong, but still very difficult for C9 to find engages, assuming the laning phase goes to par for CLG.
And that's always one of the things I'm going to be looking at even more heavily in a game with two teams that have those stats the desk was talking about, where they like to go. I love hearing the chants go back and forth even during the light show. It's great.
Dude, the crowd is popping off today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy in this room. We had an engagement on stage earlier, which was incredible. A proposal happened right before this game. It's the 4th game of the day. Everyone is still stuck around for this 8-5 matchup. Winner gets sole control of 3rd.
Alrighty, let's see what our early game looks like, because right now it's much more resembling a game of football, just line of scrimmage across the river here. Neither side wanting to jump the gun, make any moves. Let's see if we get anything special here out of the top side. Poome is making his way up here. Just going to go ahead, drop an early trinket ward inside that brush. Make sure Dhokla is not the victim of any early game cheese there with that forward brush coming through. And okay, nothing special. We're just chilling.
Yeah, and one of the most miraculous stats I saw the analyst desk cover in the pregame was the fact that the average first blood time for CLG is 3 minutes, 30 seconds. That is so early that something happens in these games. So the early jungle pathing will be really important to track, as already there's an invade, and we could have some conflict.
CLG predicting that Cloud9 would do a delayed invade like this. They waited for C9 to start the buff, and now they're jumping in, but Contract's going to be taken to half HP. Blaber's doing the same. Blaber is down, and it's first blood over to Contractz.
It looks like Blaber was trying to get level 2 by smiting the red buff. Smote early for the heal. He ends up falling. I think the red buff, who did it end up going to at the end of this?
Red buff went over to the Jayce.
Has it.
Jayce level 1 red buff.
Oh, that
Holy
is
hell.
Exactly the start CLG wants. So watch this one more time. I mean, such a risky invade by C9 when Poome is this is actually all in CLG predicting the invade, because the fact that they moved Poome over and have the extra person there makes it so unlikely for C9 to anticipate. And now, oh, that's a good trade by Fudge. Dhokla might have to flash.
Dhokla.
They're gonna get him.
Dhokla, he's trying to get away from this one. He flashes out. Fudge still in pursuit. But when he misses the lunge, that cooldown is still way too long to continue the chase any further. So Dhokla stays alive. But woo, that one was a little scary.
Yeah, and you could see there Dhokla was 1 minion off of level 2. If he gets level 2, he thinks he has it. But now he's got no flash. Red buff transfer, probably complete.
Yeah, this is just going to end up giving that buff on over to Fudge, and C9 ties it up.
The 2 most aggressive early game teams in the LCS are popping off so far, and that now becomes so extremely good for Fudge, having the red buff go to him when he was screwed in that matchup. But I think Dhokla overplayed his hand a little bit, thinking he could smash, but Contractz nowhere near to support that early in the game. He wants to get bottom lane to make sure the Seraphine Karma are okay against the Lucian Nami, and Dhokla definitely overplayed his hand a little bit and pays the price.
Dhokla now going to have to deal with that Fiora with the extra dueling power, the extra regeneration that the red buff also gives you. As the Scuttle Crabs have spawned, Blaber's going to take control of that top side one, get his level 3 there on the Trundle, so he has the frozen domain. Contractz on the other side of the map, so he can grab the Scuttle there, and those will get traded out pretty evenly. Back here in mid, Palafox just utilizing the power of Yone. Jump forward with that E, trade quickly, throw all your abilities out, snap back to position if you're in any sort of danger.
This is a gank.
But let's see if Contractz can make anything happen down bottom here. Berserker and Zven about halfway up in the lane.
They have all their summoner spells, so it's unlikely to kill, and Lucian Nami can pump out so much damage with Ignite. It's a little dangerous.
Okay, getting a nice slow onto Zven there. More damage coming. Zven trying to wait, save that flash if he can, but had to spend it there at the very end.
Very surprised Contractz didn't flash in to try and get the kill. It wouldn't have been enough damage, but boy, watching the way they greed for kills sometimes, I was expecting it. That's overall a good gank. and they do get the summoner spell out of Zven, they can make a return.
And particularly for Contractz, I love seeing that control and that discipline, because for me, he's had the biggest glow up from spring to summer.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought he was not good back in spring. There were a lot of mistakes, and a ton of them were kind of what you're talking about, of just like getting too hyphy, trying to go in for something that wasn't there in hindsight. But now he just seems to have so much better of a head on his shoulders, like he's thinking so much more clearly.
Yeah, he averaged nearly 5 deaths per game in spring split. He's cut that in half in summer split, so a huge improvement from spring to summer for him.
All right, Luger and Poome still just trying to get this wave shoved up down here. Zven without a flash on a Nami means if he puts himself in any sort of a bad spot, he will get punished. Blaber's making his way down here now as this wave gets frozen just a little bit outside the range of the turret, but those minions are low enough they'll be able to clear it out anyway. As Jensen just getting mid lane shoved up here. Berserker gets out of range of the tether. Poome can't step any closer with the minions slightly out of turret range. Would have meant he takes a turret shot, and then that's bad news bears for CLG. 1-1, no real meaningful gold lead for either side just yet, so nice exciting first 5 minutes of the game.
They are really poking Berserker and Zven here. Like, it's difficult for them to even get CS under the turret. Also, Blaber just down here in case there's a possible dive. Really good guarding in that bush. One thing I want to talk about as well with Cloud9 and the Dragon is normally they are so good at controlling bottom lane and getting Dragon off of it. They've gotten first Dragon in their last 6 games. In 5 of those games, they've gotten it before 7 minutes. So they've been so dominant at transferring bot prio into Drake. That is not the case in this game, in part to this Seraphine Karma shoving them in. So the early game plan from C9 is definitely different than it has been for the last 3 weeks based on the draft.
All right, Palafox trading aggressively onto Jensen here. Has him at about 60% HP now, backing away. Contractz and Blaber both nearby, but with the control over top lane belonging to Cloud9, that means they would be able to bring an extra body down to this topside river fight if it happens, which means CLG has to back away. Contractz has to concede that small little neutral objective there in the Scuttle Crab, and he'll make his way back down into the bottom side. Lucian, Nami, as you were talking about, not exactly having the lane dominance you like from this sort of like an aggro pairing, and Luger and Poome are just running the show down here. Neither team having any sort of vision, any sort of control over the bottom side river, so we're not seeing anybody move towards those Drakes just yet. And considering 15 minutes are left on the clock till that 7-minute mark you were talking about, it doesn't look like it'll be that early of a Drake.
Definitely not. Some pretty aggressive trading going on in the top lane as well.
Okay. Dhokla, half HP, disengages it. The wave's about to shove up, so Fudge is just going to back up, let that one come close, freezes all those ranged minions right outside of turret range, exactly where he likes them. Nice aim there from Dhokla, being able to chunk him down a little bit, but Fudge will be just fine.
Yeah, I also wonder which team thinks they have the better scaling, because the dynamics of teamfights are going to be very interesting with CLG's poke. Blaber definitely trying to get control of this top side. Definitely a bit of a Rift Herald game at the moment.
Ooh. Boom, taking
Bubble.
a chunk of damage. Nice aim from Zven there on the bubble, but Berserker was already out of ammo, did the entire combo, so not enough follow-up there to guarantee any sort of a kill or pressure onto summoner spells. Blaber trying to challenge here in the CLG jungle. Palafox wanting the Q3 there onto Jensen, doesn't hit the knock-up, so Jensen can walk away without taking any damage whatsoever. I love the fact that both teams are constantly looking for every angle they can find. Nobody says, okay, we're just content to scale up, look for first item power spikes or anything. They both have the confidence to say, no, we can outplay.
Yeah, I mean, these bottom lanes are also completely going at it. They saw everyone else on the map. They knew the 2 junglers were just brawling in the top side, so they just traded as aggressively as possible. Might actually give Zven and Berserker bot prio in this lane. And Closer said something very interesting about scaling with the Lucian Nami lane, in terms of he says, like, it scales really well once you get your first item power spikes. Like, the Gale Force on the Lucian and the Imperial Mandate on the Nami is kill threat whenever you're in a 2v2. So even if they're getting shoved in now, when they get to those mythics, I think it's going to become very difficult for the Seraphine Karma to hold court 2v2.
All right, that's what we'll keep an eye on then. Whenever those first item spikes come in, how far can Berserker and Zven push that gas pedal through the floor and force the issue?
Ambitious.
Contractz ready to fight against Blaber here, as the eye is going to be picked up and secured by C9, but now Dhokla's coming in, and Blaber's going to be in a lot of trouble. He tries to get away, but Contractz grabs the kill. Now Palafox is swooping in, and Zven's in trouble, and so is Fudge. 2 going the way of CLG, and Fudge is just waiting to die. Luger and Contractz making their way up. There comes a little bit of musical havoc. Contractz wants to get him, and Contractz gets the killing spree credit.
I mean, Jensen does have flash. CLG's just carrying on, getting more and more damage.
Palafox coming in. Berserker looking to back up his mid laner here. Palafox taking some damage, but now he's ready to continue moving forward there with that E. Snaps right on back. 1,000 gold lead for CLG off of the back of those 3 kills.
Yeah, and all their flashes are gone. Zven is the only one who has it remaining. What a disaster, and that was because the CLG bottom lane was there first. Blaber probably thought that C9 could finish the Rift Herald in time, but once they couldn't, it just ended up looking extremely questionable because the numbers advantage alone made CLG just overpower them and pick up many kills.
Well, if we're looking for a silver lining, Blaber does at least have the Eye of the Herald in his pocket, so they didn't lose the objective itself. Maybe they can try to get something more meaningful than just 2 plates back, because if this is just a 2-plate Herald, I agree with you, that was a disaster.
Yeah, they really need to find a lane where Blaber can get a kill, because that's the only way you kind of maximize that Herald usage. You would think that's top lane at the moment, because it's just so difficult to get your hands on the Seraphine Karma, but it definitely looks like the Dragon, which has increased power on this patch, is what both teams are playing for.
All right, Berserker and Zven with control over the bottom side right now, trying to shove that up. They got Blaber right behind him. But, I mean, Seraphine Karma, even if they decide they want to trade with you, it's not like they have to put themselves in a ton of danger to do it, but Poome is just going to get shot to pieces. Beautifully done from C9. And now there's that window that you're talking about. Get the kill, force the issue, and then use the Herald.
That was amazing. I mean, they just cornered him up against this wall with a pillar, and then because he was flashed, it doesn't matter how much haste and shields you can get, they can kill him. That's such a good brute force gank by C9.
Ooh, Palafox going in for the Fate Seal. Doesn't hit the damage on the ulti there, so not getting Jensen as low as he could have, but he will force him back underneath the turret. Contractz coming in now, looking for Berserker and Zven. He gets the knock-up. He gets the Q. He's going in for another one. Contractz made it look so simple.
Okay, he's fed.
Yeah.
Contractz is very, very fed. He has Divine Sunderer. That's the biggest power spike you get on this guy. 500, 500 gold bounty.
And
it's on him to carry. And they get Drake
from it. This is Contractz' world, and C9 are living in it right now. This man has the ability to control the flow of the game from here.
Yeah, the Herald does get a crash off, but doesn't kill the turret. So for now, 2,000 gold lead. I think CLG does have a slightly better draft, but it is also, if they position in the wrong way and get flanked, it's really difficult. Because if they get a really good shuffle that can push people in to C9, they are very squishy as a team. It's just if they set up well, the Seraphine Karma Jayce poke is so, so strong.
Let's take another look at how Contractz did this. Berserker, just man.
Mauls him, So because they were so aggressive and they wanted to use the Herald charge, they needed to have a reset, and Contractz just gets them before they're able to go back to base. Speaking of which...
Oh boy.
Okay.
No, he's good. All right, he's just going to recall. He senses something may be amiss here. Dhokla just going to step out, get this wave cleared up. Maybe he can force Fudge to stay. He will. Fudge does not want to miss out on the wave. Dhokla should be able to step up and grab this plate without any issues, though. One more auto attack will get that for him. Almost up to a 2,000 gold lead now for the side of CLG, plus that extra little bonus that they have from the Drakes that have all been buffed here on 12.14 that we're now playing on. So what's the next move then, specifically not just for CLG, but for Contractz? Where do we want to see this guy who is just so much of the lead focusing those efforts?
Yeah, I mean, just because you have a lead doesn't mean you need to fight all the time. There is a lot of standing gold on the map for him, so I still expect him to probably clear down. There's no Rift Herald on the map, there's no Dragon on the map, so he doesn't actually have to do much at the moment. Okay. I think clear down, let your bot lane get a reset, or if there's an angle gank, and then just carry on, get ready to fight Dragon in 3 minutes.
Okay, we got the Eclipse completed for Dhokla up there in the top lane, so 3 different Divine Sunderers are already done. The Gale Force completed for Berserker, but not quite at the point of the Imperial Mandate for Zven yet, since supports do have that slower economy to come online. It generally will
he's
take a little bit longer.
doing other stuff, so he's going to go for a kill, because that's what they do.
Okay. Palafox goes in for the Q3, doesn't find it. Nice job snapping back, getting away from the shuffle. Yone E, man, that is one of the most powerful basic abilities in the game.
Yeah, check this out, though. That's so good, because Yone draws the attention of Trundle mid, which gives Contractz the ability to sneak the blue buff at the moment. Now he's running top, but he will run into Trundle.
Yeah, junglers going to find each other here in the top side river. Blaber does not seem to want a whole bunch of this fight. Contractz is winning it pretty handedly so far. Trundle normally an exceptional duelist, but it's hard to out-duel 5 kills of a lead. Fudge comes in, and he picks him up. Palafox wants to clean up Blaber, and he's going to get that one. But now C9 have the man advantage. Jensen's trying to get away as Poome moves up to back up his solo laners. Dhokla and Palafox are able to disengage it. A 1-for-1 trade. But it's Contractz who dies, and that's a shutdown.
It's not worth it for them to get that 1-for-1 trade. Trundle is, with Trundle ult on, even if they both have Divine Sunderer, they're both really packing a punch, so I don't even necessarily think Contractz wins that. But this is always what CLG will do. They will go for the aggressive play. It's why they can beat or lose to basically any team in the LCS, because they're trying to push that tempo 100% of the time.
Well, I love watching it. I will say that this is a fun type of League of Legends to see. Still about a 1,000 gold lead for CLG. 90 seconds to go until that second Drake of the game spawns. You said that's what you want to see CLG being ready for. The Seraphine, the Karma, the power of that team fighting. But in the meantime, let's take another look at what started out as a duel.
Yeah, so they have Challenging Smite, a nerfed Challenging Smite on this patch, by the way. Previous Challenging Smite probably kills Blaber there in the 1v1, but then Fudge gets that fatty 800 gold bounty because he's actually able to reach down to that river first. Contractz not quite able to calculate that before he went in for the fight, and everyone disengages. Check out the items, though, really quickly.
Okay, what do you got?
Gale Force, Imperial Mandate.
All right, we're there.
Big spike for those two. And look at these mythics. The ones that aren't there.
Yeah, so we've got a lost chapter and that teal thing.
Yeah, I think you can get Leandries if Luger goes back right now, and he will have teleport to make it for Dragon. But that's the mythic spike that C9 need to try and take advantage of. And don't just let CLG stack objectives to infinity, because I think that's their win condition, is just poke and get dragons.
Well, it looks like CLG is investing in this second Rift Herald right now. They've still got 30 seconds before the Drake spawns, so if they can move on this quickly enough, they can take it without even having to trade the Drake away. Leandry's Anguish completed for Luger, so there's the Mythic for the Seraphine. They're going to have that one ready for the Drake fight. Contractz picks up the eye, and now CLG is going on a hike to the other side of the map. It will be Blaber who has position on this bottom side river first, as Berserker tries to shove up one more wave here in the bottom lane. Remember, there's no plates. The Rift Herald is summoned up here in mid. That will both pose a distraction for C9 to answer, as well as take the turret. The pump is already below half. CLG picking up a nice purse there.
Okay, but remember, Dhokla is top right now, so CLG actually have to give position. They were able to move into river thanks to the Rift Herald, but it ends up just being a mid turret for a bot turret and top turret trade. At the moment, CLG trading gold for Drakes.
Yeah.
I think that's a trade C9 is going to be okay with.
All right, so Drake goes over 1-1 on the Drake count now. CLG choosing, hey, let's not invest the teleport, let's back away. C9 clearly willing to fight for this. They commit the Nami ulti, they want everybody down there. So CLG opting to not fight, but instead they get that wave shoved up in top. They still have a 2,000 gold lead. Nobody's moving on to Soul anytime soon. This is a Hex Tech Soul, very powerful Soul effect. And also remember, with all those basic Drakes getting a plus 50% bonus on their stats, that's 9 attack speed, 9 ability haste per Hex Tech Drake. That's a lot of stats just for the little baby lizards.
Yeah, these dragons, especially even the Ocean Drake that was just taken by C9, it's a really good Drake to get against a poke comp. They can restore 3% of their missing health every 5 seconds now. It was 2% missing health on the last patch. So that plus the Nami healing, plus obviously Lucian having some natural lifesteal from runes and whenever he picks up lifesteal items later on in this build, is going to make it more difficult for CLG to poke C9 out late in the game.
Berserker also just now completing his second full item there with a rapid fire cannon. So more trading power, having the extra range on that auto attack, also going to be useful for getting in some damage that otherwise wouldn't exist against this Seraphine and Karma that are liking to stay back. As Contractz has his support squad next to him with the Seraphine and the Karma, and they're ready to fight. They found Blaber, the damage comes down, the subjugating enough, he flashes over the wall. Blaber, that wasn't it.
Oof, that's not a good look.
No!
Yeah, flashing with 10% health, but again, like C9 does have a lot of map pressure. That's why they're able to disappear into the jungle and basically just camp out for 10 or 15 seconds before getting that pick. So CLG continue to look for opportunities. This one lands.
Berserker checking the brush there with the W. He knows what CLG just did. He does not want to allow them to get away with it twice. They won't find a second kill there. Dhokla with control over the top side has bought himself the opportunity to steal away the enemy blue buff. They'll keep that one away from Jensen, so a little bit less wave control, a little bit less pressure mid as well. And hey, Jayce loves blue buff. It's not equal on all top laners by a long shot, but Jayce is one of the ones that it's really great on.
Yeah, and Trundle's the only person with armor who can take shock blasts. Everyone else who gets hit by a blue buff shock blast would lose so much of their health. Dhokla very close to completing Muramana as well, which is just going to take that damage over the top. And Flowers, like, what a big win this would be for CLG if they can take down C9. We'll get to that in a second, though, because C9 want that blue buff back.
Yeah, C9 are doing a pretty good job at stealing these buffs back from Dhokla. There's no way for him to outplay this one. He will die instantly. Blaber's going to take the kill credit. Blaber's going to take the blue buff back, and C9 is going to collect themselves a kill.
What's the analogy? Like, every time Dhokla is strong, it's like it makes him do stupid stuff. Like, because if he was just playing these lanes normally, he would be in an advantageous position and C9 couldn't punish him. But the red buff he got early game and the blue buff he just got now makes him just like feel like he really needs to exert his will. But that's what C9 has been able to punish twice now. So still a good position for CLG to be in, but a few setbacks.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate up there around the top side, but sometimes these things happen. We've still got about a 3,000 gold lead for them. We've still got a tied Drake state, but it is now under 2 minutes before that next one spawns. I fully expect a fight for it. Palafox goes in. He finds Q3. Berserker losing half health. The Seraphine ulti just barely missing on the very tip of it as Jensen goes in. Looks for a shuffle, but he can't find that one either. Two different ultimates, both just barely missing their target from either side.
Yeah, CLG trying to have that fight on their terms. I mean, that was a pixel away from catching Berserker. If it does, it probably just burns a cleanse, though. Yeah. So it doesn't get the kill on him either way.
But that could change the Drake fight pretty significantly if there's no cleanse on Lucian.
Yeah, so Lucian definitely going to be the one that tries to carry a lot of these fights with the empowerment of Nami, but still a very close game. Let's talk about the standings once again then.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, C9 started 0-3. So this roster is 8-2, and they are on an absolute roll in these last 2 weeks. Last week alone, they beat FlyQuest and TL, two other opponents who were right in the middle to top of the standings. So a lot of people consider C9 the favorite coming into this game, but CLG have been underdogs this entire split, even with the 3-0 start. And I don't know, if they take this one down, that's even more seriousness for them as a contender.
Also want to point out with this fight probably about to start, never mind, Zven's already been found, and with a bonk over the head, the man is dead. Contractz just keeps on spinning with his nicest Beyblade cosplay, and Berserker has to head for the hills. I was trying to make a point about Seraphine getting a Rylai's, and I'm not even allowed to do it. No. These guys are just addicted to the combat, and I love seeing it. CLG taking out the enemy support, taking out the enemy bot lane tier 1 turret, more money in their pocket now, and they've got complete control over the bottom side river and the Drake to get the objective now too. 3,500 gold, Drake lead, kill lead, counter logic gaming, baby.
Big advantage. Still lots of league to play though, with Dragon Soul being at least another 10 minutes after this one. And you even brought up the Rylai's. Yeah, great job. You said you're going to make a point by making a point about it.
Yeah, we got it. The Rylai's is so important on Seraphine too because of the way her E works. Slows turn into roots, roots turn into stuns, guaranteeing that you're going to have a slow just levels up her control abilities. And here's how Contractz found that kill with the Hex Gate.
Sneaks in with the Hex Gate. You ban the Nautilus, you get Zven on the Nami. The CLG bottom lane said he can only play 3 champions. I don't know. I don't know what 3 they were mentioning.
Well, it's looking really good for Contractz here. Honestly, just monkey go bonk. Indeed, PJ, indeed.
Yeah.
These Wukong Qs are just hitting for 500 damage every time he smacks one of them there with the Divine Son of Rasheen proc.
He wants more.
Teleport's coming in. Remember, Berserker has no flash. He still has his cleanse. Zven gets away from the fake seal. Palafox just follows him in, but the CC is there. He was not able to recast the E in time. If you get stunned before you start that snap back, you are not unstoppable. So a 1-for-1 trade there. Palafox just getting a little bit too into it as Contractz gets hasted up, looking for an opportunity here. But Jensen and Berserker are able to create enough space between themselves and their opponent to not get caught out by it. CLG
They just want to fight.
They're still just looking for
No,
anything they can
extendo.
find. Yep, Contractz trying to extend the length of that Seraphine ulti. Remember, it extends based on both allies and enemies, but doesn't extend quite far enough. What a game.
CLG is ambitious.
I love it. It's so fun to watch.
You can't even make any points in this game is what it feels like. Like Palafox, you missed the R, and that just emboldens you to flash. Like, well, the R didn't reach. Well, I got another button. Let me reach with that. It ends up being a 1-for-1, not even necessarily a good trade. I think he gave over a bounty once again, and it was just another kill onto Zven's Nami, maybe trying to tilt him out of the game a little bit, but unsuccessful because it was traded back.
When I look at the post-game thread for this, I better see that copy pasta that's like that. That's some real League of Legends right there. None of that play safe and scale for late. I can't say the rest of the pasta because it's not broadcast appropriate, but I hope that everybody at home knows what I'm going for here. As CLG, they've got themselves the 2-1 Drake lead. We're 24.5 minutes into the game. With how aggressive both these teams are willing to play, and with how bloody this game has been, 15 kills in 25 minutes, I feel like we could have a very, very consequential team fight soon that could lead to a Baron, that could lead to, honestly, the game just turning into an avalanche.
Yeah, and so much of this is on Contractz. Like, he's having such a good game, but I don't actually think the Wukong synergizes that well with the rest of the team's theme. Like, the Seraphine, Karma, Jayce, very ranged, very pokey, and then they have this Wukong Yone, who can pull off a wombo combo, but if it misses, that exposes them and everyone else on the team is squishy.
Contractz jumped over the wall, went in a little bit. Contractz is stunned up. He may just die here. Shield off! Bait in! Beautifully done. Double enchanters get it there as Palafox looks for a little bit more, and Dhokla's Shock Blast follows it up. C9 have lost their jungler, and everybody but Fudge is at 25% HP. I called it, dude. I called it. I said there could be a consequential fight, and there was a consequential butt whooping as C9 lose out on the Baron, and CLG are taking over.
Such slim margins on that game. That could be the make or break moment. Contractz doesn't actually get the clean engage, but he is close enough to his team, and the gargantuan shields they can apply to him bait C9 through the corridor. So they think he's down. Seraphine ult lands on 2. Doesn't matter. Blaber's the one who flashes in for the finish. Big mistake. A really rough game for Blaber. He died to the First Blood, he died at the Rift Herald, and he dies there, which gives the Baron over to CLG.
You must have so much discipline and so much control against double enchanter bot lanes. 1 HP is not 1 HP. It's closer to 1,001 because they're always going to get Zerg healed. They're always going to get spam shielded. And Fudge is now finding himself jumped on as CLG moves in the goon squad yet again. Contractz, Poome, working together. Luger always close by as well. Palafox shoving up this Baron Enchanted wave here in the bottom lane. Tier 2 turrets still standing in all 3 lanes. Plenty of standing gold here for CLG to go after. Q3 is going to be reposted. Fate Seal's going to be sidestepped. Palafox still looking to make a bit more happen as Contractz goes in. He's not going to find the knock-up with R1. Nami wave flies out, but it won't find much. Contractz with a flash away from the bubble. CLG wanting to make more happen, but not quite finding it. They'll still take the tier 2 bottom, and they'll get the tier 2 mid as a consequence.
Yeah, still beefing up their pockets. That's a plus 2,500 Baron power play. Not immaculate, but still pretty good. Man, Palafox is just applying so much pressure with this Yone. Should be a 3rd dragon, 2nd Hextech, which is equivalent in power to 3 Hextechs on the last patch. Now in the pockets of CLG.
Yeah, 9 times 2 is the same as 6 times 3. I did my flashcards when I was in 2nd grade, all right?
Dragon guy.
I'm in there. I'm in there. Yeah, Dragon guy's loving this one. All right, we almost have a Dragon Soul for CLG. They're on Soul Point now, which puts even more pressure on a C9 that is already down 5,000 gold. Now, in under 5 minutes, it is demanded that you come stop this, because you're talking about poke comps, right? We're talking about how powerful that can be, how annoying that can be. Add a Hextech Soul to it.
Oh. A lot of ability haste.
A lot
Everyone
of ability
on
haste.
CLG
The proc
wants the ability haste.
Man, it's it's scary.
It's very scary for Blaber too. I mean, I always wonder if CLG is about to go in for a fight, but like we did say in draft phase, this is going to be a very difficult game for Trundle to navigate because they just blind picked the Trundle when they didn't really know anything about what the rest of CLG's composition was going to look like.
Yeah.
And they just kite him out. He doesn't have enough damage to kill anyone through the shields of Seraphine and Karma, and he doesn't have enough range to do anything else.
And there's nobody good for him to eat. He
Yeah.
doesn't get good defensive bonuses from his ultimate because nobody on the enemy team builds defensively.
Yeah.
The most defensive item is what, an Immortal Shield Bow? That ain't gonna do it. All right, CLG taking down that remaining tier 2 turret before the Baron. All three were standing afterwards. None of them are still up. I'll call that a successful Baron power play for the side of Counter Logic Gaming. Still about 5,000 gold in the lead. They lost their own tier 2 there in the bottom lane. Fudge claimed that on the split push, so recouping some of those losses. But C9 are very much still on the back foot.
Yeah, back foot, but I'd say not completely out of it. CLG in high control of this game. Great poke comp, but let's talk about what could maybe happen if C9 wants to come back into the game. So,
All right.
yeah, that's the wrong button. We're gonna get the items here very quickly. He's just completed Infinity Edge. I can see on my other screen.
Okay.
He does have enough damage. Oh, there it is.
Nice.
To cut through pretty much anyone on CLG. And the Void Staff being completed by Jensen as well will give him a little bit of a spike. Because of the durability patch, that just passive MR is a lot higher, so third item Void Staff is still fairly important. And then just like, it's so much about Contractz. If he doesn't get a clean engage and C9 is able to get him down, then it's all squishy targets with little amounts of CC for possibly the Infinity Edge Berserker to track down, because he's now by far the highest DPS player in the game.
The other thing I'm keeping an eye on here, Palafox with that stopwatch, he's also working towards his Infinity Edge. He did not go for the typical Immortal Shield Bow into Infinity Edge maximum damage type of Yone build for 100% guaranteed crit. Instead, going for Blade of the Ruin King second. Double lifesteal items makes him an incredible duelist and incredible split pusher, but he's still waiting on that spike, and once he has it, I expect him to just be full send YOLO Yone. Like, he's already playing that way, and he doesn't have Infinity Edge. With Infinity Edge plus stopwatch, there are no consequences. Just jump in.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the way Palafox has been playing this game. I think the Bork actually came in first, which is a very big first item spike. And he's been playing the side lanes, and he's giving CLG first move to a lot of these different objectives.
There it is, Infinity Edge.
Boom, he's strong.
And Serelda's Grudge on the Jayce, so when those shock blasts hit, it's also going to give more of an opportunity for Yone and Contractz to follow up because the target is slowed down now. Always love seeing that come online, unless you're playing against it, in which case it's not the greatest thing in the world. So CLG, they know they've got about 90 seconds until this Drake spawns, and it is a soul if they can grab it. Huge, huge stakes here for this upcoming fight.
Yeah, CLG can't forget about Baron. Hextech Soul is probably a win condition, but C9 has a team comp that can kill Baron very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think C9 is kind of going to edge towards the Baron side as a way to maybe try and sneak some control.
All right, CLG's got everybody except for Dhokla grouped up here. Dhokla over around the blue buff, picking up a little bit of mana regeneration there so we can spam out those shock blasts. All right, CLG, they know that Baron's coming up, and it'll be about 40 seconds before the Drake spawns. So CLG are the ones that are now moving towards the Baron pit. There is a ward in there, a control ward from Cloud9 that's at least going to buy them a moment, but CLG are just running straight towards this. Fudge already used his ultimate on Dhokla. Dhokla had to flash away, but he stays alive. Blaber jumping in now. Palafox going to reset his position there with the E. Baron's at about 7,000. CLG backing away. They do not want to flip this. Blaber's coming in, throws down the pillar. Poome getting everybody away there, making sure they're all hasted, staying together. Dhokla still defending the tier 1 turret. This tier 1 mid turret for CLG still alive 32 minutes into the game. Fudge getting caught out as Contractz is ready to go spin, and Palafox reverting his position yet again as Contractz has to fall back. Accelerated shock blast finds Fudge, and he burns away to Poome's ignite. It's a 1-0 for CLG, and Berserker does not want to give them a second. Luger flashes in. Zven's gonna take some damage, and Berserker gets rooted up. Contractz in hot pursuit, and he's looking to take down the Cloud9 AD carry. Can he close the distance? He's hasted up. Return to Monkey. Yes or no? Yes, indeed. Away you go. Contractz picking up another.
It's still going, though. They were going to do Baron. C9 was going to sneak Drake, and now Palafox is caught.
Palafox getting away. He flashes over the wall. He gets away from Jensen's ulti. Now Jensen seeing what else he might be able to find, and it's only a tombstone. Dhokla on a killing spree.
Oh, and he is not done here. Zven has no defenses. COD, you guys just got to take the Drake. Just take the Drake.
Bye-bye, Nami.
Nice shot.
You like fish sticks, Jatt?
I really do. Yeah, and CLG, big fan.
Yeah, CLG's loving it right about now. And they're also loving this Hex Soul. Counter Logic Gaming, man.
Dude, what a game by CLG. They pull back the Seraphine, House of the Dragon Soul right here. Really powerful Drakes as well. So much more powerful than it was last patch. They get this, they get the Dragon, they got gold on everybody, and now it's about closing it out.
This is just incredible. From a team that for so long was a meme and that has roared to life here in summer, tied 8-5, tied for third. If they can finish this out, if they can close this clean with an 8,000 gold lead, with a Drake Soul, that's so big for them. Let's take another look here at the back end of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Dhokla, if he doesn't miss that first shock blast, Jensen's basically one shot. He flashed to like safety / aggressiveness, but they just, like, C9 just doesn't have the tools to catch people. That's the thing about this game. It's so hard for them to hit and do damage. So another big power spike here for CLG with the Baron buff, with the Hextech Soul. Very strong poke comp. They're just gonna go 5 mid and try and get this done.
They're just rolling in, death ball style. Oh my goodness gracious. That's what I'm talking about right there. Poke comp with Hex Soul, the slows, the extra damage. It's just so oppressive to play against.
I love this.
CLG, 5-man strong, pushing straight through mid lane tier 3. They're on the inhib. It's already gone.
Never split up. Just group. They are so powerful. They're daring C9 to fight.
Palafox already using the E there. All right, Berserker tries to hit a couple auto attacks. Poome shield just going to shake that off. No problem. One Baron Enchanted Cannon minion going to continue plinking away at that first Nexus turret. It's already below half HP. Berserker sitting at about 60%. Contractz are going to go in. Throws Blaber up into the air. Contractz with a stopwatch. Berserker going to take some damage now too. Blaber is down. Jensen is down. Fudge into the resurrection, but he's only going to come back to life to die again. CLG takes out Cloud9. Berserker and Zven won't do a damn thing. 18-5. CLG looks good.
What a summer split so far by CLG. Contractz 8-1-5 on the Wukong. CLG with 9 wins now move into sole possession of third place, breaking the tie for them and C9. I think Liquid's up there at 9-5 as well, but such a game by CLG.
You know what Contractz is? You know those old memes where they used to post a picture, be careful who you make fun of in middle school, and it's the person who just turns into a rock star after they get older? Be careful who you make fun of in spring split, because they might come back and whoop your ass in summer. Contractz is just an absolute hero for this squad. The whole team is playing aggressive. The whole team is playing on the same page. And man, if they aren't fun to watch.
Yeah, the thing with aggressive play is it takes time to find your stride, but you have to learn through failure. And that's what it seems like CLG is doing as this year progresses. They go, they go, they go, and that's how they learn when not to go. And they're still the most aggressive team in the LCS.
You learn the most by being willing to make mistakes, by putting yourself out there, by making the error and understanding, okay, cool, let's try that a little bit differently next time. They're a team that's not afraid to learn. They're a team that's not afraid to be wrong. And that's one of the effects that you get out of this. Oh yeah, they could win to anybody, they could lose to anybody, because they're always gonna try.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And you can see their massive coaching staff on stage right now as well. Brandini, positional coach. Apollo, positional coach. DeMonte there. Croissant, Think Card. 5 coaches on stage. And they're good at red side. That's partially being versatile as players. It's also because they got a big coaching staff who thinks about counterpicks a lot. But they're performing, man.
It's so fun, because it was, I know, when they started off like 3-0, right? It's always the concern of everybody watching. They're like, oh, okay, we see teams start off with these nice hot starts, but then they cool off as things go on. And CLG has stayed with it. They've stayed competitive. They've stayed towards the top, and they've stayed just an exciting team to watch play League of Legends. On the other side of the break, High is going to go pro to pro with Palafox.